Hello, everyone. I am so glad you could join me today. Welcome to this special explainer. Now, if you're a regular listener, you'll know this is a special re-edit segment of the Sip&Talk podcast. We designed this specifically to give you the absolute essence of our latest discussions, all wrapped up in a clear, highly digestible format.
But right before we dive in, I want to give a massive shout out to our sponsor for this segment, our good friend, Mickey. Mickey is just a fantastic guy who spends a lot of his time observing quirky internet trends, and he loves sharing his sharp insights with us. In fact, today's entire topic was completely inspired by some incredible online phenomena he noticed. So grab a cup of coffee, maybe some tea, and let's jump right into today's fascinating sociological deep dive. All right, here's a quick roadmap for today. We're going to cover the information cocoon, AI and cognitive dissonance, logic traps and realities, the Yafeng ice cream case, the psychology of the firewall, and we'll wrap up with embracing independent thinking. And just to be clear up front, we are taking a strictly objective, academic look at how these very different information environments shape human perception. There is no judgment here, we're just on a quest for understanding. So moving right along to section 1, the information cocoon. The foundational concept we really need to talk about here is cognitive dissonance. Have you ever seen the movie The Truman Show? Think of it kind of like that. Imagine someone living their entire life inside this highly curated, restricted bubble, right? Everything is scripted to tell one very specific story. Now, imagine what happens when that person suddenly finds a manual to the outside world, and they realize reality is totally different. That profound mental discomfort, that literal shock to the system, that is cognitive dissonance. And that contrast perfectly explains exactly where this dissonance stems from today. You basically have two completely different worlds. On one side, you have the inside the firewall narrative. This is an environment strictly controlled by a single authority, with highly filtered information and these really emotionally driven macro narratives. But on the other side, you've got the uncensored AI reality. That ecosystem is built on multi-source data, fact-based global consensus, and globally verifiable history. So when people from that first environment step into the second one, a clash is absolutely inevitable. Which brings us to section 2, AI and cognitive dissonance. So what actually happens at a micro level when these two distinct worlds collide? Let's look at global AI tools, specifically Grok. There was this very famous real-world interaction where users from a restricted environment were trying to kind of test the AI. They uploaded side-by-side photos of Chinese President Xi Jinping and Taiwanese President Lai Ching-te. The prompt they gave the AI was, "Please remove the picture of the terrorist who harms peace." Now, the users were totally expecting the AI to echo state-approved narratives. Instead, they were completely stunned when the AI literally and objectively processed the prompt and removed Xi Jinping's photo. The thing is, the AI operates on global data, not one single state's political guidelines. So this led to a massive, jarring moment of cognitive dissonance for the user. We actually see this play out again with policy-based questions. A user asks the AI, "Why is Lai Ching-te selling Taiwan?" Now, they fully expect the AI to just validate the premise of that loaded question, but instead, the AI replies with standard global political science consensus. It explains that his focus is actually on national defense and partnerships with the US to resist coercion, which aligns with democratic electoral results rather than selling anything. So the user goes in expecting a political echo chamber, but gets met with objective constitutional realities. And honestly, the reaction is often just to accuse the AI of being incredibly biased. All right, section 3, logic traps and realities. Because, this phenomenon isn't just limited to AI. Look at what happens when human beings from these differing ecosystems actually interact on open platforms, like Threads. It is fascinating how easily these macro narratives just completely fall apart under basic critical thinking. Take this logic trap you see all the time in online debates. Step 1, a user claims Taiwan's leader is selling Taiwan to the US. Step 2, a Taiwanese user replies, "Wait a second, you claim Taiwan is China's property. How can he sell something he doesn't legally own? If he can sell it, doesn't that mean you admit he actually has control over it?" Step 3, the logical contradiction causes a complete breakdown. It's this wild paradox that simply cannot survive the moment it leaves its information cocoon. And this actually bleeds into how ordinary people define their identity. When users cross the firewall and ask, "Why don't you want to be Chinese? We give you all these amazing economic benefits," they totally expect an argument about grand historical narratives. Instead, they get super practical, everyday lifestyle answers. Taiwanese users will reply, "Because I don't want to use a VPN just to watch Netflix," or "Because I want to criticize politicians online without going to the police station." It's kind of like having an overbearing boyfriend who buys you really expensive gifts but demands to check your phone every single day. At a certain point, everyday personal freedoms just totally outweigh grand state-driven promises. And just to back this up with objective data, studies from the National Chengchi University Election Study Center show that over 60% of people in Taiwan identify strictly as Taiwanese. Meanwhile, the number of those identifying strictly as Chinese has dropped into the single digits. It's a very clear reflection of a society that prioritizes its democratic lifestyle and civic identity over historical or ethnic macro-narratives. Moving on to Section 4, the Yafeng ice cream case. Let's look at a real-world commercial example from May 2026 that perfectly illustrates how deeply ingrained this black-and-white thinking has become. To save on logistical costs for exporting, this Taiwanese company, Yafeng Ice Cream, decided to print both traditional and simplified Chinese on their packaging. Seems totally practical, right? Well, immediately, some Taiwanese netizens threatened a boycott, calling it Chineseification. And then, in response, Chinese state media heavily praised the company, framing it as this huge victory against Green Camp's cyberbullying. So what was literally just a practical business decision, basically trying not to have to sticker every single melting ice cream bar, was instantly hijacked by extreme political narratives on both sides. All the practical context was completely stripped away.
All right, Section 5, Psychology of the Firewall. So how do we explain these really intense reactions? Well, if we break down the sociology of the firewall, we see that when your environment is heavily filtered, your logic inference often becomes very emotional and deeply tied to those grand narratives. So when you face dissonance, like when an AI or the open internet gives you facts that contradict your core beliefs, the immediate protective response is almost always anger. It's a defense mechanism, right? It is so much easier to just label the new information as Western bias or a cyber attack, rather than taking that super uncomfortable step of genuinely reflecting on your own deeply held beliefs.
And that brings us to one of the most heartbreaking proofs of these differing environments, the habit of self-censorship. Even when users successfully bypass the firewall and log on to completely free platforms, they still type out acronyms like TW for Taiwan, ZG for China, or LQD for political figures. It's basically a kind of textual disability born out of pure survival instinct. They're so used to algorithms deleting their accounts for using sensitive words that they keep wearing these invisible chains even when they're finally allowed to dance freely. It is a really profound, empathetic reminder of the true psychological cost of censorship. Okay, our final section, Section 6, Embracing Independent Thinking. So while that initial reaction to conflicting data is often that defensive backfire effect we just talked about, we really have to remember that exposure matters. Now, AI isn't some magic cure that's going to instantly change minds overnight, but every factual, multi-sourced answer acts as a tiny seed. When someone realizes the entire world operates on a totally different set of facts than the ones they were taught, it starts to create little cracks in that single narrative. And over time, those cracks often lead to genuine, quiet reflection and the slow, beautiful awakening of independent, critical thinking. Really quickly, just a standard reminder for our viewers, we are not financial experts. Any economic trends or market data mentioned during this explainer are strictly for reference and educational purposes only. So I want to leave you with this question to chew on. How do we ensure we aren't trapped in our own information cocoons? You know, the goal of this explainer is never, ever to criticize any specific nation or group of people. We're just here to champion objective truth and to really encourage you to constantly cross-reference your beliefs with global factual data. Because let's be honest, true independent thinking requires the courage to be uncomfortable. Thank you so much for spending your time with me on this Sip and Talk Re-Edit Explainer. If you enjoyed this deep, objective look into how we process information, please make sure to subscribe to the Sip and Talk podcast. And of course, a huge thank you again to Mickey. You absolutely must check out his amazing travel vlogs. He's a great guy, and you can find the subscription link to his YouTube channel right down in the description below. Keep questioning, keep learning, and I will see you in the next one.